What's going on, reality hackers? Today we're going to talk about the greatest question I have ever seen asked. Can manifesting make you sick? What a question, and it is ridiculously loaded. First off, I want to say that this is not psychiatric advice. If you're looking for that, go talk to your therapist. But what I am going to share with you is ultimately my belief and perception and conviction around why sickness does manifest when we are manifesting consciously, right? Here's the thing. As we've established, the brain is ridiculously set on keeping us alive. What that means is that the body is going to function in such a way that it preserves what it considers to be its fundamental life, which is the ego. That being said, when we begin to get into the arena of conscious manifesting, becoming self-aware not only brings old thought patterns to the surface, but it also brings the manifestation of those thought patterns to the surface. See, for most of us, our crappy beliefs are so buried on top of each other, the manifestations of them have become so consistent that we find it really hard to differentiate between health and sickness. For example, really low value beliefs, they contribute to low energy levels, low testosterone, all sorts of energy levels, biochemical responses that are an effect of those very fundamental traits. In fact, there have been studies done that show when people's self-concept changes, their actual physical energy level changes with it, because every belief is energy trapped or moving in the body. And the beliefs that we carry, they are either highly constrictive, they're slightly constrictive, they're less constrictive, and they're not constrictive at all. Ultimately, the idea here with manifesting is that we want to move into a place where 99.9% of all the beliefs that we carry are least constrictive. And you notice when you move into a high state of consciousness, your body begins to feel it. You feel like you're full of energy. When you're in the flow state, right? You are convinced that you are so much more energetic than you have maybe been in the past. This is the really amazing thing about this. When you begin to become self-aware of things that you've carried for maybe even decades, you will find that the energetic remissions of those begin to show up in your life, not because you're being attacked, not because you're being tested, but because you are allowing what has been true to really show itself for the first time in most likely a very long time. And so what happens here is that my job is to understand what the body is going through and obviously take care of myself. I also have to get to a place where I understand that there is so much more value in higher states of consciousness than there are lower states of consciousness. In other words, if I find myself dealing with maybe ailments that come up when I'm trying to move through beliefs that I've held for so long, the goal is not to judge myself and say, oh, you're so bad for holding on to these beliefs. Allow them to come up, allow them to release. And as you allow them to release, what you're going to find is that your health on the other side of things begins to change. It begins to get lighter as your dominant state of consciousness begins to get lighter. So this is really the biggest thing that you need to focus on if you're finding yourself getting sick or experiencing a ton of ailments, right? First off, not judging what's happening, allowing it to come through. A good influencer on YouTube, Instagram, I can't remember his name, he talked about sickness being a fierce grace. And I think in a lot of ways, when we're pursuing the idea of conscious manifesting and we get sick, it is such an opportunity for us to come home to ourselves, to become quite a bit more present, and then carry that degree of awareness throughout the healing process and onto the next phase of our lives. So, can manifestation get you sick? Technically, no. Dealing with beliefs that you have stuffed down that come up will absolutely express themselves, as every single belief that we do or that we have does. It will express itself because you are the totality of the universe experiencing itself, and what you hold in consciousness will outpicture itself in your life. What an amazing discourse. All right, thank you for joining us today. If you have any more questions, if you have any ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. Definitely want to hear what you have to say about this. You're amazing. You're awesome. Click the bell. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't do any of that and you hide in the shadows, guess what? You are just as loved. All right, have an amazing day. We'll talk to you soon.